year two, bowl week two. One still stands. Let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back to another DNS address. Bowl week two is officially in the books, and December just reminded us why playoff football is cruel. Georgia Tech entered undefeated. They are undefeated no more. Sacramento State entered looking for win number 10. Minnesota shut the door. But South Florida is still standing. The Bulls beat number 6 Oregon. They are moving on, and now the DNS Dynasty has exactly one program left, chasing the biggest trophy in college football. One. That is it. One team carrying the banner, one team still alive, one team still chasing a national championship. Welcome to Bowl Week 2. The theme, one still stands. Let's get into it. Headline of the week is South Florida takes down Oregon. Number 3, South Florida entered the FIESTA Bowl against number 6 Oregon with one job: survive. The Bulls did. South Florida wins 34-24. MVP Jr. completed 25 of 35 passes for 304 and 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. Henry Hasselbeck also threw 1. So yes, South Florida gave Oregon opportunities, but the Bulls kept making enough plays to stay in control. Wilder stepped in a massive way: 17 carries, 91 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 receptions, 55 receiving yards. That's 146 from scrimmage and 2 scores. Joe Jackson was limited to only 5 carries for 28 yards. That is not the kind of stat line we've used to seeing from him, but this is exactly why championship teams need more than one answer. Wilder became the answer. Shelton Sampson Jr. continued doing what he does all season: 13 catches, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. Arhmad Branch added 63 yards and another score, and then came the defense. 3 sacks, 4 interceptions, 4. That is the difference. Every time Oregon tried to build momentum, South Florida took the ball away, and in playoff football, possessions are everything. South Florida improves to 13-1. The Bulls survive the FIESTA Bowl, and they move on in the college football playoffs. The American champions are still alive. The Heisman runner-up is still alive. Sampson Jr. is still alive, and the DNS Dynasty has a shot at a national championship. One still stands. They'll be facing number 7 Texas. Georgia Tech's perfect season ends. The Peach Bowl match, number 7 Texas against number 2 Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech entered 13-0, perfect ACC champions, undefeated, one of the best seasons anywhere in year 2. Texas leaves, though, with the win 31-23, and Georgia Tech's perfect run ends at 13-1. Clutts completed 18 of 34 passes for 216. He did not throw a touchdown, but he did throw 2 interceptions. That was the problem. This had been a Georgia Tech offense capable of putting teams under constant pressure all season. Against Texas, the explosive plays never came constantly enough. Roma rushed for 65 and added 23 receiving yards. Chad Alexander added 57 total yards. Malik Shaw was the brightest spot offensively: 8 receptions, 103 yards, and Georgia Tech could never fully get the offense going. The defense tried to drag them back into it: 2 interceptions and a forced fumble. John Mitchell returned one of those interceptions, 29 yards for a touchdown, pick 6. That gave Georgia Tech life, but Texas had enough answers, and for the first time all season, Georgia Tech ran out of them. This is a brutal part of playoff football. You can go 12-0. You can win the ACC championship, get a first-round bye, do everything right for 4 months, then lose one football game, and it's over. Georgia Tech finishes year 2, 13-1, ACC champions, college football playoff participant. 1 loss. That 1 loss just happened to come at the worst possible time. Still, do not let the ending erase the season. 13 wins, conference champion, perfect regular season, top 2 ranking, a legit national championship run. That is an elite year. The ending hurts because the season mattered. Sacramento State falls short of 10. Sacramento State entered the Xbox Bowl against Minnesota and had one last goal. Reach 10 wins. Minnesota wins 36-21, though. Sam Babcock threw the ball 52 times. He completed 29 of them for 354 and a touchdown, but the mistakes showed up. 3 interceptions, one of those being a 47-yard pick 6 by Minnesota safety Kerry Brown. Brown was then named the Defensive Player of the Week for the nation. In a 15-point game, 7 points directly off an interception matter. Elias Brown was able to rush for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Godley added 49. Rainey finished with 43. Jason Moses had a huge day, 9 receptions, 158 yards, 1 touchdown. Sacramento State moved the football. They just didn't protect it well enough. The defense forced 1 fumble, and Minnesota made more major plays. Sacramento State finishes year 2 9-5, and yes, 10 wins would have looked nice, but zoom out. This program entered the season with instability, turnovers, quarterback questions, early losses. Then they found themselves. 8 regular season wins, a trip to the MAC, a MAC championship, a bowl appearance, 9 wins, conference champions. This is a successful season. The coaching carousel keeps spinning. And just when the games are ending does not mean the offseason waits. Northern Illinois has a new chapter beginning. Coach Breesy takes the UAB job. Career record 3-21. And yes, that makes just one of the more interesting coaching moves of the offseason. UAB is replacing a head coach who went 20-6. That coach left to become an offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State. College football coaching searches are undefeated. One man goes 20-6 and says, you know what? Coordinator job. Another coach goes 3-21, gets the keys to the program. Welcome to the carousel, but this is an opportunity. Northern Illinois was a difficult rebuild. There were flashes. There were close losses. There were moments where the Huskies looked much better than the final record. Now Breesy gets a reset, new roster, new conference situation, new expectations. UAB is betting that the record does not tell the entire story. Now Coach Breesy gets the chance to prove them right. Our stock ups this week: South Florida with the playoff win, 13 victories still alive. Nothing matters more than surviving right now. Wilder, Joe Jackson had a limited role. Wilder stepped up with 146 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Championship teams need depth. That was depth. And then South Florida's defense, 4 interceptions against Oregon in the playoffs. That wins football games. Need more film of the week is Georgia Tech's passing games. Passing game. No passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions against a team like Texas. That margin becomes too much to overcome. Sacramento State's ball security. 3 interceptions, 1 pick six. A familiar problem from earlier in the season returns at the worst time. Georgia Tech's offseason mentality, 13 wins is outstanding, but when you get that close to the national championship, the offseason question becomes simple. How do you finish next time? Our Bowl Week 2 honors offensive player of the week is Shelton Sampson from South Florida, 13 receptions, 155, a touchdown. On the biggest stage of the season, that's exactly what you want to see from your star. Our defensive player of the week is South Florida's defense. 4 interceptions, 3 sacks, a 10-point playoff victory over number 6 Oregon. Sometimes the awards belong to one player. This week, the Bulls defense gets it. Our built not difference of the week is South Florida. This season has not been perfect. South Florida dealt with turnovers. It's dealt with changing game scripts. Joe Jackson did not dominate this game. MVP Jr. threw 2 picks. Henry Hasselback threw another. Oregon had chances, but South Florida never folded. Wilder stepped up. Sampson delivered. The defense forced 4 interceptions, and the Bulls survived. That is playoff football. You do not need to be perfect. You have to have a better team than the team across from you for 60 minutes. South Florida was. Now they get another week. That opportunity was given. It was earned, built, not given. Our year 2 season now completes. We have our champions. We're slowly getting our coach carousels going. We're going to see who the last team is, and right now it is South Florida. Number 3, South Florida. Every other DNS season is finished. Georgia Tech's out, Sacramento State's out, Georgia Southern's done, Troy's done, Old Dominion's done. Everybody else is recruiting, rebuilding, reorganizing. South Florida's still playing. The Bulls are now the final DNS program carrying year 2 in the college football playoffs. The chances that changes the pressure. You are not just representing South Florida anymore. You're representing the league. 13 wins, American champions, playoff victory, and now the national championship is within a game's reach. No more scoreboard watching. No more Heisman races. No more conference standings. Win, advance, repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, Bowl Week 2 took 2 more seasons from us. Georgia Tech's perfect run is over. 13 wins, ACC champion, one incredible season, and Texas had the better day. Sacramento State's MAC championship season ends at 9-5. The Hornets came a long way from crisis of September. And then there was South Florida. The Bulls survived Oregon. Michael Van Buren Jr. made plays. Jamarice Wilder stepped up. Shelton Sampson delivered. The defense intercepted 4 passes, and South Florida earned another week. That is all that matters now. One more week, one more game, one more chance. The DNS Dynasty started year 2 with 11 programs chasing their own vision of success. Now, only one is still playing football. South Florida, the field's shrinking, the pressure is growing, and the trophy's getting closer. The message does not need to be complicated. You've already proven you belong. Now go prove you can finish. Because playoff football does not reward almost. It rewards whoever is still standing when everybody else goes home. And right now, one still stands. In the Department of Natural Selection, you select, we collect, built, not given.